YouTube refugees.
Hey guys, what's going on? I just haven't been here in a long time. That's all I'm going to say. I apologize for the absence, but I am briefly back here, and I am still focused on trying to get out those October videos because I'm just really excited to do that. I hope everything works out. I was just dropping in to let you guys know I'm still around, but also wanted to talk about a couple of things that probably, could fit in here on this channel as much as anywhere. Previously, I had posted a couple of videos where I talked about comic books, and not that those were, like great videos or anything, but if you had any interest in those, this is kind of relevant to that. The DC Universe is rebooting starting like earlier this month, and I've been kind of getting into that because I've been just without any extra money and any time to go focus on, looking at new comics in a while. But I have been reading from way back when at the beginning of this year. I'm still reading the Green Lantern trade paperbacks. This is the one I'm on now, which is the Secret Origins. This is like if you're reading Sinestro Corps and all that stuff that happened from several years ago. This is about the 6th or 7th trade paperback in a row, maybe more than that. I'm not really for sure. It's way up in there. But I'm really enjoying that, and I'm hoping to get through all of this so I could start Brightest Day, Flashpoint, and then really jump into these new number ones. But yeah, so if you guys have any thoughts on any of those new number ones, definitely let me know. The next thing I want to talk about, and this is kind of like related to that, and it's like really kind of sad, and it's kind of hit me in a weird way that I wasn't expecting. When I talked to you guys about like my most influential comics and some of the things I read when I was really young that got me into comic books, that stuff dates back to the mid 80s. I mean, like way back there, back when the only way you could find comic books was going to either comic book stores, possibly certain bookstores, and then gas stations, usually only, like little supermarket type places, only usually had like Marvel and DC. So if you wanted exposure to anything that wasn't Marvel and DC, you definitely had to go find a comic book store. And because of my cousin was a couple of years older than me, and he really got me into reading comics at that time, because I was about 5th grade, something like that. It was way back there. But I went to this one comic book store, and it has been in the same location what feels like my entire life. It had been in that same location for roughly like 25 years. And I found it right after it opened. Like it'd only been open like maybe a year or so when I found it. Because I think I found it around 1986, something like that. But anyway, that place closed after 25 years. And it really bummed me out in a weird way. I was so excited to go check out these new DC number ones, and I went there and they had a sign on the door, closed, thanks for, shopping here all these years, we appreciate the people of this town, and that kind of thing was on the door. And I mean, when you hear things like this, it doesn't affect you in the same way unless you've got some kind of personal connection with a location like that, like a little ma and pa location that closes after so many years. But yeah, that really blew me away. So after that, it's kind of got me back into comics and got me back into avoiding like the online ordering from like book warehouse type places. I'm not going to mention any names, I mean, they are what they are. Everybody's aware of them. But, you guys go support your local comic book store. I mean, that's all I'm saying. Maybe you don't have enough money to buy everything there because you're on a budget or whatever, but if you're going to go buy, just an actual newsstand comic straight off the shelf, go to your local comic book store. We need more places like that. And I'd like to see, comic book stores continue to thrive, even though they're facing two different fronts, which is the paperless age, where places like, comic book stores are trying to be swallowed up by digital versions. Like even places like DC and Marvel are starting to do online comics now, and you can get a free month of membership, unlimited viewings. It's exactly what Netflix was doing to Blockbuster, and things like that. And not only is that an issue for comic book stores, but on the other front, you've got huge warehouse stores that are undercutting them and selling things at 40% off with free shipping and crazy things like that. And if your comic book store isn't big enough to hold a lot of back issues, of course you're going to go there and you're going to look for trade paperbacks. And trade paperbacks are the main focus of these warehouse places. So if a comic book store has anything on the shelf, that's their bread and butter right there. Go buy brand new comics as they come out. Go check things out for $2 or $3. Go look and see if you can find something new. Or for $1, maybe go look in their bargain bin or whatever and snatch an old comic and see if you like it. I mean, that's kind of what comic book stores are all about, is just discovering things and talking to the owners and the people that work there and see what they like. It's the kind of things that I enjoyed about when I went to Blockbuster. I always loved looking at the employees' favorites section and discovering movies I'd never heard of before. And that kind of personal connection is what you're going to get at a comic book store. For the most part, the people that work there because they love comic books. There are some exceptions, I'm sure, but it's a fun place, and I wish there was more of them around, and it kind of bums me out. And I didn't want this to be like a soapbox personal message kind of thing, but my one day of the week, I felt like I needed to just kind of get this off my chest. So for you guys that are not into comic books, I apologize. It's no big deal. But for you guys that really enjoy comic books, I hope that you take some of this to heart, because it could be your comic book store next. Yeah, for everybody out there, rest in peace. The original Planet Comics that was Atomic Pop. They've moved to one of their other locations. They condensed 2 stores. So I wish them well, and I hope that second store can keep them afloat. So that's about all I was going to say. Yeah. So you guys have a good week, and if you're a comic book fan or used to be a comic book fan, read a comic book today. Honor your comic book store while it's still there. Okay, take care, guys. Have a good week. See you next month. Bye.